starting. Awesome. Hi, Professor. If we're not able to edit this out, just know that it's 4:05 and we've been doing this for an hour and a half. Oh. And we're ready to start. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oops. I hope I can edit this out. Okay. We're going to begin our presentation on the impact of agricultural revolution on global and social health.
So first, we want to give you a little bit of background on the problem we're going to be describing. So rice is undeniably a necessity for human life to continue at the scale it is at, because currently approximately 700 million tons of rice is produced every single year worldwide. And that covers 158 million hectares of farmland, which is actually more than 1% of all land on Earth. And furthermore, more than 3 billion people's diets depend on rice. And as long as it is being farmed, it provides a steady income for people as well. But this is where the issue arises, is that rice harvesting accounts for 10% of all agricultural emissions and 2% of all total emissions on Earth. And this adds 13.3 million tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere every year, just from rice harvesting alone. And although rice harvesting does not release a lot of greenhouse gases per capita, it's the sheer amount of it that adds a serious amount of harmful gases every single year.
And for the actual agricultural process, from the idea of a second revolution, would be Earth's massive population needs to be fed, and traditional techniques cannot be expanded to meet the new requirements. The second agricultural revolution movement focuses more on efficiency, which would be implementing technological advancements into agriculture, such as drones, wireless communication, and automated fertilization robots or underground sensors. And with Earth's growing population, agriculture needs to keep up. However, the previous agricultural revolution needs to be revised. We can't continue to clear massive areas of land. This emits massive amounts of carbon dioxide and works against the natural environment. The alternative is to make farms more efficient in the same area of land. This will be done by scrapping traditional farming techniques and instead using already cleared land and planting various crops together to allow all ingredients of the soil to be used and reused by the differing needs of nearby plants. The farmland will then need differing soil treatment methods in specific areas, which the automated robots will fertilize based on readings that the sensors in the soil communicate to them. Overall, the two main points of the new method is to cater to the exact needs of each plant without having to waste resources on delivering minerals, water, etc. to many other plants that do not need them, as well as get the most out of the soil by farming plants together that can use the farmland in a mutualistic relationship. And in countries such as Costa Rica, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Nepal, Zambia, and India, where farming is a major corporation or a major part of their country's livelihood, they've already begun implementing processes such as these. And in Costa Rica, the country's forest cover has doubled since they started implementing these techniques. Contributing communities have recorded increased natural pollination and pest control, and also wildlife and food habitats. Traditional farming, rice farming, provides a food source for 3 billion people, as Aiden said, and it's a livelihood for millions. And traditional farmland is flooded, and that's the main reason that it causes the 11% of annual methane and 2% of global greenhouse gases. The new technique provides a less labor-intensive way to farm rice, and farmers who have implemented the method have increased their incomes and their crop yields. But the revolution requires international awareness of the climate crisis issue, as well as investment and willingness to change for the betterment of the planet and the people living on it.
Brings us to our final initiative proposal, which is the next agricultural revolution. Essentially, this is implementing new technologies and techniques into agriculture. This would allow us to harvest multiple strains of rice, in turn increasing biodiversity and reducing emissions. Irrigating rice fields rather than flooding them, that would save water. And then implementing sensors, drones to monitor nutrients and water levels, which would be more efficient to reserve resources. Implementation process would consist of businesses classified as corporations would have to implement these technologies over the course of 20 years by certain deadlines throughout the course of 20 years. End result, higher output of rice, boost in the economy, and decrease in emissions.
So shown here is the timeline for the implementation of our initiative proposal. We are stating that every 4 years, the companies have a 4-year window to get 20% of their harvest and their new methods of planning to be the newer, more sustainable methods. And the companies need to be 100% with the new methods by the year 2042. And failure to comply will lead to increase in taxes for the company, and that money from the taxes will go towards funding smaller owned businesses and getting them to be more sustainable and use newer methods of harvesting.
So who is this influence? First and foremost, large or medium corporations with large amount of land will be able to make the first investments into hardware for improved farming efficiency. Small farmers clustered together will also be able to do that through cooperating with other farmers locally, such as in the case of farmer unions or in China, farmer cooperation unions. It allows more it allows a more plant it allows a diet with more dietary fiber by moving it to plant-based sources. It as well will increase the amount of energy absorbed by the energy absorbed over the amount of energy required to produce the crops, as the ratio for energy was higher for plants as per the 10% rule.
Small businesses or farms would be negatively affected by this because they could not afford the technologies for this revolution. This is why we made the transition optional to smaller businesses. That being said, it's likely that they'd fall behind in implementing these technologies, would put them way behind the competition, and then may not be able to catch up, putting them out of business.
So the plan asks for the change for the farmers, big farmers or small farmers alike. It asks for the changes in the infrastructure, such as the improved irrigation method, the implementation of sensors and technology used to survey the crops. It had improved farming method, encouraging farmers to plant different breeds of crops, as well as the crops that are more suited to the local ecosystem. It changes the job structure, where farmers are encouraged to adapt to the initiative as they have apparent gains. The increased productivity will also cause the decreased need of previously needed farming-related consumables, such as fertilizers, which will free up labor and might need other means of employment.
And this is our works cited. Normally, this is the part of a presentation where we would ask for comments or questions. Through this medium, we can't really do that. So a final remark would be, this solution doesn't necessarily hurt that many people, and it's overall better for the people and as well as the planet. And the future does look bright following the second agricultural revolution.